A pleasant afternoon everyone. I am here to create an educational video about the specialized subject of Humanities and Social Sciences. By the way, I am Sean Michael C. Kabungkal, a grade 12 student of Tansi National Comprehensive High School. I am currently taking Humanities and Social Sciences Strand because I believe that it will help me in my future career. Specialized subject in Humanities and Social Science has a lot of learning and knowledge that can offer. We have 8 specialized subjects that has different content, and I assure you that learning this is worth it. First, let me introduce to you the Introduction to the World Religion and Belief System, or IWRBS. In this topic, I'll introduce to you the different religions that exist and the beliefs that they believe in. Buddhism. It is both religion and philosophy. The tradition and belief surroundings can be traced to the original teaching of Gautama Buddha, a sage thinker who is believed to have lived between the 4th and 6th centuries BCE. Buddha lived and taught in the eastern part of ancient India, providing template for faith based on the ideas of moral rectitude, freedom from material attachment or desire, the achievement of peace and illumination through meditation, and life dedicated to wisdom, kindness, and compassion. Buddhism is largely divided into 2 branches, Theravada and Mahayana. Theravada. The goal of which is to achieve freedom from ignorance, material attachment, and anger by practicing the Noble Eightfold Path, all in pursuit of a silent state called Nirvana. Mahayana. The goal of which is to acquire the Buddhahood by practicing 7 principles of self-control, meditation, and expression of the insight of Buddha in your daily life. Today, roughly 7% of the world practices some from Buddhism, making it the 4th largest of the world's religion, with an estimated 500 million adherents across both Eastern and Western Peru. Christianity, a monotheistic religion based on the life and teaching of Jesus of Nazareth. Christianity teaches that Jesus is the Son of God and the Messiah. Christian scripture incorporates both Old Testament with the story of Jesus, his teaching, and those of his contemporaneous disciples. Christianity has seen countless Reformation movements, which spawned innumerable sects and offshoot denominations. Many forms of practice exist to be named on one place, but the faith's 3 largest branches are Roman Catholicism, Eastern Orthodoxy, and Protestantism. Combined, Christianity is the largest religion in the world with roughly 2.4 billion adherents, or 33% of total population. Confucianism was a dominant form of philosophy and religious orientation in an ancient China, one that emerged from teaching of ancient philosopher Confucius, who lived 551 to 479 BCE, himself as a channel for theological ideas emerging from the empirical dynasties that came before him. With an emphasis on family and social harmony, Confucianism was a distinctly humanist and even secularist religion ideology. However, it remains a foundational ideology and force underlying Asian and Chinese attitude toward scholar, legal, and professional pursuits. Indeed, the strong work ethics advocated by Confucianism is seen as major catalyst for the late 20th century rise of the Asian economics. Hinduism, an ancient tradition of related beliefs and practices that developed in the Indian subcontinent. Core ideals and values shared by most Hindus would include respect for elders, relevance for teachers, regard for guests, and tolerance of all races and tradition. Though no one figure or group is credited with its founding, Hinduism is the 3rd largest religion in the world today. Its more than 1 billion adherents comprise more than 15% of the world's total population. Islam, a monotheistic religion, revealed in its final form by Prophet Muhammad. The essentials of Muslim practices are summarized in the 5 pillars of Islam: declaration of faith, ritual prayer, welfare, a month of fasting during Ramadan, and pilgrimage. The Quran and the Islamic legal code known as Sharia inform every aspect of life, from ethics and worship to family matters and business dealings. Islam holds good behavior and adherence will lead to an afterlife in paradise, whereas disregard for Muhammad teaching will lead damnation. Today, Islam is the dominant faith to large swath geography, particularly in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and North Africa. With more than 1.6 billion adherents, Islam is the 2nd largest religion in the world and the chief spiritual identity for more than 24% of the world's religion population. Judaism, one of the eldest monotheistic religions in the world, based around the people's covenant relationship with God. Jews believe that they challenge and blessed by God. Love in one's neighbor is the great principle of social life and the founding inspiration in Jewish community. With roughly 14.3 million adherents, practitioners of Judaism comprise about 0.2% of the world's population. Shintoism, a religious tradition native in Japan. Initially, an informal collection of beliefs and mythologies, Shinto was less religion than a distinctly Japanese from cultural observance. The first recorded use of the term Shinto can be traced to the 6th century CE, an essentially connective tissue between ancient Japanese custom and modern Japanese life. The primary focus of Shinto is the native beliefs in kami and interaction with them through public shrines. Shinto is unique among religions. As a reflection of Japanese identity, Shinto observance is not necessarily limited to those who view themselves as religion adherents. Roughly 3 to 4% of Japanese citizens reported visiting Shinto shrine. Now that we know the different religions of the world, let's go to another topic where we can discuss the 9 disciplines of social science. Disciplinary ideas in social sciences are these. We're going to discuss the 9 disciplines which include the reason about their study and to know their purpose in our society. Let's start with anthropology. Anthropology, known as the science of humanity. Anthropology covers a broad range of topics from human behavior to cultural relations and how the evolution of humanity has influenced society's structure. It's often described as being both scientific and humanistic. Meaning it's well suited for anyone looking to indulge passion for both this kind of subject. And while it's confusing on the history to an extent, there's a plenty of chance to apply it in a modern context too. Economics. Economics looks at the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. You can choose to take close view or broad one, but in general, it comes down to looking at how the economic system of the world works. This knowledge can be applied both theoretically and practically, meaning the subject is well suited for anyone interested in the current economic world. Geography. Though many of us may remember geography as the subject at school that involved maps, it goes beyond that, analyzing population, the land itself, the relationship between the two, and often linking to the earth sciences, such as geology. At post-grade level, you'll be able to specialize in a particular branch, such as oceanology, environmental management, or tourism geography. History, a broad subject, encompassing large areas at the time periods of the world. Whilst postgraduate level study gives you a chance to specialize, you'll be using similar skills, interpreting sources, looking at current theories of the past, and assessing ideas against the available evidence. With Europe's long, well-documented story, there's a chance to get a look at the places you're studying firsthand. Law. Studying law will give you the opportunity to look at the variety of legal systems and to focus on particular area, contract law, international law, or criminal law, to name but a few. During further study in law is especially useful if intending to go into as careers, although it is possible to study it solely for academic reasons. Linguistics, the study of language. Looking at its form, context, or meaning, rather than learning to speak a particular language, it's more about how language itself works. Within linguistics, there's a broad range of study from looking at grammar to language acquisition or the evolution of language. Political science. Politics affect every part of life, so it's no wonder it makes such fascinating area of study. Often broken up into political philosophy, comparative politics, and international relations, this subject allows for studying both historical and current events. Again, This degree is perfect for both those aiming for a career in the area or looking at it academically. And with the EU containing so many different systems, it's a fantastic place to study it. Psychology, both theoretical and experimental. Psychology makes use of studying both social behavior and neurobiological processes. With such a broad area of study, the human mind will specialize in a particular areas. Perhaps child development, interpersonal relationship, or social psychology. Sociology is the study of society, both on the individual and structural level, covering topics such as class, religion, and social mobility. There's a broad range to choose to specialize in. Some sociologists work solely for theoretical purposes, whilst others intend to use their findings in policies or welfare. After we discuss the 9 disciplines of social science, let us now go to the next subject, which is Discipline and Ideas in Applied Social Sciences, or DIAS. This subject includes different theories, foundation, and principles of all disciplines in social sciences. What is the relationship between discipline of social science and applied social science? Social science is about people and how can they interact with others in their society and how societies interact with each other. Applied social science is about putting theories into practice and directly with public. The cooperation of applied social science centers on how social science, counseling, social work, and communication which are seamlessly threaded together. Counseling. Counselors typically focus on helping families and individuals with a specific set of problems, particularly patients with mental health disorders, providing help, courage, and strength for an individual in facing his or her issues and to take up the best and possible option in the moment of life crisis. Social worker. Social worker focus on providing a wider range of service in social service system. Counselors turn to provide support in only one service. Social worker promotes social change, problem solving in human relationship, and the empowerment and the liberation of the people to enhance their perspective. Social workers and counselors develop many of the same skills, including the ability to communicate effectively and think critically. During their degree programs, learners pursuing an MSW focus on understanding social policy and learning to work with patients dealing with substance abuse and addiction disorders. Counseling students focus on gaining a deeper understanding of human growth and development, along with how to provide trauma therapy. Communication. A system of codes, symbols, and processes that conveys meaning in an opportunity to pass on culture, information, and life events. Communication provides accessibility to information and thereby serves the rights of an individual to the public to be informed as heard. According to D. Jari and J. Jari, the application of social science theories, concepts, methods, and finding to problems identified in the wider society. It will be a big help if you will know the Philippine politics here in our country. This subject will teach you the institution and the basic concept of elements of the politics in our country. Philippine Politics Governance, or PPG. Philippine Politics and Governance, or PPG. Before we start, I'll tell you the meaning of politics. Politics is a set of activities that are associated in making decisions in groups or other forms of power relations between individuals such as distribution of resources or status. The Philippines is a republic with a presidential form of government, wherein power is equally divided among its 3 branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. The government seeks to act in the best interest of its citizens through this system of check and balance. But what is the meaning of those 3 branches? Executive, the law enforcing body. Executive power is exercised by the government under the leadership of the President. Legislative, the law-making body. Legislative power is vested in both the government and the bicameral Congress, the Senate, the upper house, and the House of Representatives, the lower house. Judiciary, the law enforcing body. Judicial power is vested in the courts with the Supreme Court of the Philippines as the high judicial body. To those students who loves to make poems and letters, it's convenient for you if you learn some basics in creative writing. I assure you that it will boost your talent in this kind of field. It's indeed interesting because you can gain a lot of tips with this. Creative writing. Creative writing is any writing that goes outside the bounds of normal professional, journalistic, academic, or technical forms of literature, typically identified by an emphasis on narrative craft, character development, and the use of literary tropes or with various traditions of poetry and poetics. The example of creative writing is the following: poetry, plays, movie and television scripts, fiction, novels, novellas, and short stories, speeches, memoirs. The purpose of creative writing is to both entertain and share human experience, like love or loss. Writers attempt to get at truth about humanity through poetics and storytelling. If you'd like to try your hand at creative writing, just keep in your mind whether you are trying to express your feeling or a thought. The first step is to use your imagination. As you can see, some non-fiction type of writing can also be considered creative writing. Memoirs and personal essays, for example, can be written creatively to inform your readers about your life in expressive way. Because this type of written in person is easier for them to be creative. Techniques used in creative writing include character development, plot development, vivid setting, underlying theme, point of view, dialogue, anecdotes, metaphors and similes, figure of speech, imaginative language, emotional appeal, heavy description. Now, we're going to discuss the creative non-fiction. You will understand the different techniques in making autobiography, blogs, and literary form. This is the fastest growing genre. Creative nonfiction has become the most popular genre in the literary and publishing communities. In some ways, creative nonfiction is like jazz. It's a rich mix of flavor, ideas, and techniques, some of which are newly invented and others as old as writing itself. Creative nonfiction can be essay, a journal article, a research paper, a memoir, or a poem. It can be personal or not, or it can be all of these. The word creating has been criticized in this context because some people have maintained that being creative means that you pretend or exaggerate or make up facts that embellish details. This is completely incorrect. It is possible to be honest and straightforward and brilliant and creative at the same time. For a text to be considered creative nonfiction, it must be factually accurate and written with attention to literary style and techniques. Ultimately, the primary goal of creative nonfiction writer is to communicate information just like a reporter, but to shape it in a way that readers like fiction. Creative nonfiction contrasts with other nonfiction such as academic or technical writing or journalism, which is also rooted in accurate fact but it's not written in entertain based on prose style. The next subject is very relevant and timely nowadays because we're now living in a new generation where a lot of trends are known. The critical thinking of people will also include, and it will be a big factor because we'll see the difference of it from our ancestors. Trends and critical thinking in the 21st century culture. In 21st century provides efficiency in learning. It enables us to think critically and wisely under pressured situations. It is important in making decisions armed with knowledge and attitude of this subject molds an individual to be a competent and accurate part of the society. Interesting topics and situations learned from this subject can be applied in every student's life. We can learn skills from this as well that can be used in daily living. It provides general awareness of what's happening in our surroundings. Teach us how to appreciate technological ideas and how to properly utilize them. It's very interesting subject for every student and studying it further may even provide enjoyable and fruitful results. 21st century teaching means teaching as you have always taught but with today's tools and technology. It means utilizing everything that is important in today's world so that students will be able to live and prosper in today's economy, as well as having the ability to guide students to prepare them for the future. Learning in this century differs greatly from education of the 20th century in some ways. As the first decade of the new millennium wraps up, we can look back to see trends that have emerged and are likely to continue in the coming decade. Number 1. Increased use and integration of technology. Number 2. Globalized approach to learning. Number 3. Awareness of economic factors and affecting education. 4. Needs for a highly skilled competitive workforce. Number 5. Borderless and a cross-border education. Number 6. Increased student and faculty mobility. Number 7. Individualized, customizable, learner-centered approaches. Number 8. Strategic partnership and alliance among government, school boards, school and individual educators. Number 9. Emergence of non-formal and informal learning, driven by technology. Number 10. Frameworks, benchmarks, and other asset-based approach to assessment. The last subject is needed to learn as early as now. We need to engage in our community to help our country in growing. Unity is needed in understanding this. The Community Engagement, Solidarity, and Citizenship, or TCESC. Community engagement, solidarity, and citizenship are all interrelated. All these terms have something to do with social change, social progress, and social problems in some instances. Before we discuss its relationship, let us define the following first. This focuses on the application of ideas and methods of the social science to understand, investigate, and examine challenges of contemporary community life. It focuses on community action initiatives such as community engagement, solidarity, and citizenship as guided by the core values of human rights, social justice, empowerment and advocacy, gender equality, and participatory development. It aims at enhancing students' sense of shared identity and willingness to contribute to the pursuit of the common good of the community. It enables students to integrate applied social sciences into community action initiatives. Community engagement, solidarity, and citizenship are all interrelated. All these terms have something to do with social change, social progress, and social problems in some instances. Before we discuss its relationship, let us define the following first. Community engagement, a dynamic relational process that facilitates communication, interaction, involvement, and exchange between an organization and a community for a range of social and organizational outcomes. Solidarity, unity or agreement of feeling or action, especially among individuals with common interests. Citizenship, the position or status of being a citizen of a particular country. How are they interrelated then? How do they affect our society or state as a whole? In governance or in every state, citizens are entitled to a lot of rights which they can use to promote personal progress or effectively contribute to the current state of our society. These rights may also be used for community engagement. Note, community engagement is necessary especially in aspect of governance. New set of rules and government decisions must be in accordance to the decision and welfare of the public, and their opinions will only be heard through community engaging activities. Also, to promote progress in our society, there should be solidarity. Successful community engagement only occurs when there is solidarity among citizens of the state. Without solidarity, your rights as a citizen and the efficiency of community engagement will be useless. And that's it for today, listeners. I hope you learned something about my educational video. To those students and upcoming students who want to take humanities and social sciences strand, prepare yourself because it will be a long ride. Though, it was a good choice because you can learn a lot of knowledge about it and it will help you in your future career. Thank you guys. Stay safe. Bye-bye.